Hello, good evening, Labiba. Please confirm if I'm audible to you or not.
Good evening, sir. Yes, you're audible.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, you can hear me, right?
Okay, so sorry, you were saying something.
No, sir, I'm saying you can hear me, right?
Your audio is not clear. Anyways, I think we were talking about the journal in the previous class, and we did few question based on the journal, and I think I have given you few question for your homework as well. I think I gave this question for your homework, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, sir.
Did I give? Yes. Okay. Just confirm whether you did this question or not, whether you were able to solve it or not.
Yes.
Labiba, you solved it? Vanisha, you tried this question?
Yes, sir.
Vanisha, am I? Okay. Any doubt in this question, guys? Okay, let me know the journal entry you both of you have passed. Let me know the journal entry for the first transaction quickly. Sham became insolvent. A first and final compensation of 75 paisa and a rupee was received from his official receiver. He owed us 10,000. Tell me the correct journal entry for this quickly. Vanisha and first of all, Vanisha, tell me. Yes, Vanisha, could you please tell me the correct journal entry for the first transaction quickly?
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah. Could you please tell me the journal entry?
Yes, sir. Sir, cash account debit to bad debt account debit to Sham account.
Cash account debit, bad debt account debit to Sham account. Okay. All right. So I think that is the correct journal entry. Okay. Moving on to the next transaction. Tell me the correct journal entry for the second one. Labiba, you tell me first. General entry for the second transaction that says received cash for bad debt written off last year. We did one similar journal entry in the previous class as well. Tell me, Labiba, quickly. I think there's some problem with your mic, I guess. If your mic is not working properly, you can also tell me in the chat section quickly. Or also let me know whether or not you did this question. You did the homework, okay. Anyways, let me show you the correct general entry for these questions. Firstly, see, as Vanisha told the first journal entry for the first transaction, that was the correct journal entry. Just a minute. Just a minute. So the journal entry for the first one was cash account debit, bad debt account debit to Sham account. But for the second transaction, the journal entry will be cash account debit to bad debt recovered account. 5,000 debited, 5,000 credited. Got it? Is it clear? Vanisha, is that what you have done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then the third transaction is rent due to landlord. See, rent is an expense, and because it is still due, that means we haven't paid the expenses. So expense is it is an outstanding expense. An outstanding expense is a liability. So the general entry for the third transaction will be rent account debit to outstanding rent account, right? Rent account debit to outstanding rent account, right? Labiba and Vanisha, is that what you guys have done as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then moving on to the last transaction. In the first transaction, it says place an order with Rakesh Mohan for supply of goods of the list price 1 lakh. In this connection, Raman paid 10% of the list price in advance. So 10% in advance. So 10% of 1 lakh is how much? 10% of 1 lakh is 10,000. So the payment of 10,000 in respect of purchase of goods is made on advance basis. So the general entry for this will be advance to Rakesh Mohan account debit to cash account. That will be the correct general entry for this. Right? Advance to Rakesh Mohan to bank account. I think we did this question in the class itself, if I'm not wrong. As far as I'm able to recall, I think we did this question in the class itself. Anyways,
Yes, sir.
moving on to the next transaction, next question. I must have given you this question as homework. Yeah. This is the question that I gave for homework. All right. So first transaction is goods costing 500 given as a charity. Goods costing 500 given as a charity. Anybody, please tell me the correct general entry for this. Labiba, you want to try? Manisha, you want to try? No. Okay. Anyways, let me show you. The correct general entry for the first transaction will be just a minute. So the general entry for the first transaction, which says that goods costing 500 has been given as a charity. For this, we will consider charity as an expense. Charity is a kind of loss, you can say, for the time being. So charity account will be debited. Charity account debit 5. What was the amount? Yeah, 500 to purchase account. Goods, since goods have been given as a charity, so whenever goods reduces, we need to credit the purchase account. So the general entry will be, sorry, the narration will be being goods given as all right. Both of you, is the general entry clear to both of you?
Yes, sir.
Tell me if it is clear. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next transaction. It says sold goods to Mayank for rupees 1 lakh, payable 25% by check at the time of sale and balance after 30 days. See, first of all, let's talk about the effect taking place in this transaction. We have sold goods. Sold goods to Mayank, and Mayank is also making the payment of 25% and 25% by check, and remaining he is promising to pay after 30 days. So paid by check. How much? 25% has been paid by check, and balance will be paid after 30 days. Right? 75% will be paid after 30 days. So goods of how much? 1 lakh. The goods costing 1 lakh have been sold to Mayank. First of all, since goods is what? Goods sale is a kind of revenue, right? So whenever you will sell goods, revenue will increase. Yes or no? Revenue will increase, right? And 25% of that sale value we have received by way of check. So when somebody makes the payment through check, what will happen? Our bank account will increase, right? The bank balance will increase, and bank is obviously, it is an asset, so asset increasing. And for the remaining 75%, he said that he will pay after 30 days. That means 75% is still due upon Mayank. 75% is still due upon Mayank. So the amount which is still due upon Mayank, for that much value, Mayank will be considered as our debtor. For that much amount, Mayank will be considered as our debtor. So we'll presume that debtor increases. So basically, check is received for rupees 25,000, and for the remaining 75,000 of amount, our debtor will increase. So now see, the general entry for this will be, because bank is increasing and debtor increasing, both are asset, debtor and bank both are assets. So we will debit the bank account and the debtor account. And sales are what? Sales are revenue. And whenever revenue increases, what do? We credit the revenue account. If you are able to recall, we did this in the previous class as well. See, the general entry for this will be, firstly, you will debit the bank account. Bank account will be debited by what amount? 25,000. Right? As at the same time, since the debtor is still outstanding, amount is still out, 75% of the amount is still outstanding. That means it will lead to increase in the value of the debtor. Debtor's account will increase. Debtor account will be debited by 75,000. And finally, to sales account. So the narration for this will be being, goods sold to Mayank. Tell me, is this general entry clear? Both of you, Vanisha and Labiba? Tell me if it is clear or not.
Sir, could you explain it once again?
Okay. Vanisha, you want me to explain it again? See, firstly,
Yes, sir.
since we have sold goods, so sales is what? Sales is a revenue, yes or no? Please confirm.
Yes, sir.
Sales is a revenue, yes. Whatever the value of goods has been sold, out of that value, we received the payment for 25% of the sale. And that payment has been received through check. That means when we will receive 25% of payment by check, that will definitely going to increase our bank balance by 25,000, right? 25% of 1 lakh is 25,000. Is that correct? So when somebody makes the payment of 25% of the sale value in check, through check, it will lead to increase in the value of the bank balance. So therefore, our bank will increase by 25%. That means, sorry, 25,000. But what about the remaining 75% of the value? 25% we have received through check, but what about the remaining 75? So the remaining 75% is still due. Due upon whom? Due upon Mayank. So Mayank will be considered our debtor, right? Because he's buying goods on credit. The remaining 75% is still not paid. So for the remaining 75% of the portion, Mayank will be considered as our debtor, yes or no? Mayank will be
Yes,
considered
sir.
as our debtor, yes, yes. So that means under this transaction, three things are happening. Firstly, revenue is increasing, right? Because we did the sale of rupees one, sorry, we sold the goods, therefore revenue will increase. At the same time, our bank balance will also increase by 25,000, and since the remaining 75% is still due, that will lead to increase in our debtor as well. So whenever debtor increases, we need to debit the debtor account. Whenever our bank increases, we need to debit the bank account. Whenever revenue increases, we need to credit the revenue account. So revenue, sales is revenue. So we have credited sales account and debited bank balance, bank and debtors. So the general entry will be bank account debit to bank account debit, debtors account debit to sales account. Tell me, is it clear now, Manisha? Or you want me to explain it again?
Yes, sir.
Any problem, any doubt, Manisha or Labiba? Any
No,
doubt?
sir, it's clear.
It's clear now. Labiba is not there. Okay, Labiba is saying, give me 5 minutes, I'll fix it. Okay. All right, moving on to the next transaction. Let's talk about the transaction C. It says in the third transaction, it says receive 975 in full settlement of his account of rupees 1000. So we have received 975 from Hari Krishna in full settlement of 1000. So actually the amount that was due upon Hari Krishna was 1000, but instead of 1000 we are accepting 975 in full settlement, in complete settlement. That means we are allowing him a discount of rupees 25. Let me show you. Upon, see, Hari Krishna, just a minute. Hari Krishna, because Hari Krishna is our creditor, right? And the amount that is due upon Hari Krishna is how much? It is 1000. But instead of 1000, we have received 975 in complete settlement. So when he will pay us 975, that will lead to increase in the cash, yes or no? That will increase the cash balance, yes or no? And at the same time, this will reduce the amount of creditor as well, na? Since Hari Krishna have made the payment, so creditor will reduce, yes or no? But keep that in mind, creditor will reduce by 1000. Our creditors will reduce by 1000, but the cash that we have received is only 1975. What about the remaining 25 rupees? Remaining 25 is the discount that we gave. Got it? So creditor have reduced by 1000. Sorry, creditors reduced by 1000. Cash received by 975, and discount allowed will be how much? 25. Now tell me, discount is what? Discount is an expense. Sorry, discount is a loss or a gain? Tell me. Discount allowed is a loss or a gain? Tell me, Manisha. Discount allowed is a loss or a gain?
So loss.
Correct. So because it is a loss, our loss are increasing. Loss increases by 25 rupees. So whenever loss increase, what do? We debit the loss account. We debit the loss account. That means discount allowed will be Discount allowed account will be debited. Cash is receiving, we are receiving cash. Cash is what? Cash is an asset, right? And whenever asset increases, what do? Whenever asset increases, we debit the asset account as well, right? And Hari Krishna was who? He was our creditor, right? Creditor made the payment in complete settlement. So creditor will reduce by 1000, right? Reduction in the creditor basically means reduction in the liability. So whenever liability reduces, what do? We tell me, we credit the liability account. So the journal entry for this will be, what will be the journal entry? Tell me quickly. So journal entry will be cash account debit 975, discount allowed account debit 2, creditors account 1000, and the narration will be being name of the creditor will be mentioned here. Sorry, name of the creditor was Hari Krishna, na? So Hari Krishna account being received being cash received from Hari Krishna. Got it? Is it clear, Vanisha, Labiba? The general entry is clear, both of you?
Yes, sir.
Labiba, is this clear to you? Labiba, you can tell me in the chat section as well if it is clear or not. Yes, okay. All right. Moving on to the next transaction, it says received first and final dividend of 60 paisa in a rupee from the official receiver Rajan, who owed 1000. So Rajan is one of our creditor upon whom 1000 was due, but we were able to recover 60 paisa in a rupee. That means 60% of the amount that is due upon Rajan can only be claimed. That means remaining 40% is bad debt, right? Remaining 40% will be considered as a bad debt. So the journal entry for this will be, just a minute. Firstly, understand the effect of this transaction, how it is going to affect. See, because we have received the payment from Rajan. Rajan is who? Rajan is one of our creditor. So since we are receiving payment from Rajan, so that means cash will be received. Cash will be received. But upon Rajan, the total amount due upon Rajan was 1000. Right? And out of that 1000, only 60% or 60 paisa in a rupee can be claimed. That means only 600 can be claimed. What about the remaining? What about the remaining 400? Tell me. That will be considered as the bad debt. So this Rajan is a debtor. Rajan is our debtor. When Rajan makes the payment, debtor will reduce. There is decrease in the value of the debtor, right? The debtors will reduce. Sorry. And since he is not making the full payment, he only paid 60% of the amount due. That means remaining 40% will be considered as the 60% is only paid. So remaining 40% will be considered as the bad debt. Bad debts will be how much? It will be 40%. So 40% of 1000 is how much? It will be 400. Now, cash is what? Cash is an asset, sir. So what is happening in this transaction? Asset is increasing in the form of cash. Yes. And debtors is decreasing by 1000. But at the same time, our loss by way of bad debt is also increasing. Loss are increasing. Right? Now we can pass the journal entry. See, since the asset is increasing, so we can write down cash account debit. Then loss is also debited. So bad debt account debit. To Rajan account. Right? And the amount will be 1600 and 400 being amount received from debtor Rajan. Tell me, Labiba and Vanisha, is this clear or not?
Sir,
Tell me,
it's
Vanisha,
clear,
is this
sir.
it's clear? Noted. You're writing this down now, guys. Both of you are
Yes,
writing
sir.
this, yes or no? Yes. Shall we move to the next transaction?
Sir, 1 minute.
Okay, just tell me whenever you are done.
Yes, sir, done.
Then the next transaction is charge interest on drawing. Charge interest on drawing. So the general entry for the interest on drawing will be, see, question does not say that we have collected interest on drawing. We haven't received interest on drawing. We just charge interest on drawing. So whenever interest on drawing is charged, the general entry for that is, because drawing reduces the, see, drawing is what? Drawing is withdrawing money from the business. So whenever drawings are made, it leads to reduction in the capital. It leads to reduction in the capital. And whenever capital reduces, we need to debit the capital account or the drawing account. Drawing account will be debited because it is reducing the capital. Right? And since we are charging interest upon that drawing, and interest is what? Interest is an expense. Interest on drawing is a revenue for the business. Interest on drawing is a revenue for the business. So in this transaction, what is happening? Our revenue is increasing, and because revenue is increasing, we need to credit the revenue account, and capital is reducing because drawing is being made. So we will debit the capital, the drawing account. So the general entry in this case will be drawings account debit to interest on drawings account. What was the amount? Amount was 1500. 1500 debited, 1500 credited, being interest charged. on drawings. Got it? Is it clear? Manisha, is this clear to you? Labiba, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Labiba, it's okay if your mic is not working. It's perfectly fine. You can just let me know in the chat section whether the journals are clear to you or not. And tell me whether you are done writing this or not, so that we can move to the next transaction. Manisha, you are done?
Yes, sir.
Manisha done? Labiba done?
Yes, sir. Done.
Moving on to the next transaction. It says sold goods costing 40,000 to Anil for cash at a profit of 25% on cost, less 20% trade discount, and paid cartridge 100. Cartridge is a delivery charge, guys, which is not to be charged from the customer. Okay, so let me just interpret this question, what this question is trying to say. This one is the last transaction F. So it says, firstly, we sold goods costing 40,000. The value of the goods is cost of goods equals to 40,000, right? We sold these goods at a profit of, we charge a profit of how much? We charge a profit of 25%. So 25% of 40,000 is 10,000, right? So after charging profit of 25%, the selling price became 50,000. But at the time of sale, we allowed a trade discount to the customer as well. We have allowed a trade discount. We allowed a trade discount of what percentage? 20%. 20%. Trade discount is always allowed on the selling price. So 20% of 50,000 will be how much? This will be 10,000 again. So ultimately, the goods that is sold to the customer, the value of the goods sold to the customer, selling price to the customer will be 40,000. We need to subtract this now. So subtracting 10,000 out of 50,000 will be 40,000. So that basically means we have sold goods to customer at 40,000, right? Because we are selling goods to the customer at 40,000. That means this will definitely going to increase our revenue. Yes or no? Our revenue will increase, Vanisha. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Our revenue will increase, right? And we just a minute. Question says that we sold goods to customer Anil for cash. We have sold goods to Anil for cash. So this transaction is going to affect the cash balance as well. Cash will increase by what amount? Cash will increase by 40,000. So what about the cartridge? Cartridge is an expense. See, cartridge is what? Cartridge is a delivery charge basically. So cartridge is a delivery charge that is not chargeable from the customer. Our cartridge is an expense, so our expenses are increasing, but this is not chargeable from the customer. So we need to pass a separate journal entry for this. Firstly, we will pass the journal entry as, because cash is increasing and revenue is also increasing. So the journal entry for these two will be combined. We will write the journal entry as cash account debit to sales account. And amount will be how much? Amount will be 40,000. 40,000. And we can now write down the narration as being goods sold to Anil for cash, right? And sir, what about the cartage expense? So we will have to pass a separate general entry for that. We will write down, because expense, cartage is an expense, and whenever expenses increases, we need to debit the expense account, right? If you're able to recall, we will write it as cartage account debit, right? Cartage was paid of rupees how much? 100 rupees was paid for cartridge, and this must have been paid through cash. So we will debit the expense account, cartridge account will be debited, and 100 to cash account. Right? Vanisha, is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Labiba, is this clear to you? Both the journal entries are clear, yes or no? And we will have to write down the narration as well. Just tell me, Labiba, if it is clear or not. Being cartridge paid in cash. Yes, okay. All right then. So this is all about this question. We are done with all these 6 transactions. Now we can move to the next question. All right, moving on to the next transaction. Just a minute. Okay. I want you to do this question now. This is not an homework question. This is not a homework question. I want you to try this question now. I'm giving you 5-7 minutes. I want you to solve it. Let me know the answer. Let me know the correct journal entry for all these transactions one by one. I'm giving you 10 minutes. Solve it within 10 minutes, and then we will discuss the correct answer of this question of each and every transaction with Labiba and Vanisha. Tell me if it is clear or not. Am I clear to both of you, Vanisha?
Yes, sir.
All right. Just solve the question. Let me know the answer. Let me know when both of you whenever you are done solving this question, or if anyone have any kind of doubt, then also ask me.
So,
Yes, Anisha.
can you explain the D and G one?
D transaction and G. Okay. In the D transaction, let me check. A, B, C. D is about depreciation on furniture, right? We're talking about
Yes, sir.
the, yes, okay. So see, furniture is what? Furniture is an asset. Depreciation means there is a reduction in the value of the furniture. Depreciation means, whenever you buy any asset, let's suppose you bought a phone, right? If you bought a phone, the value of which is rupees 25,000. After the period of 2 years, the same phone, the value of the phone will reduce. Now, after 2 years period, the same phone will cost only 10,000, right? Phone, the day when we purchase that phone is valued at 25,000, but after continuous use, after using this phone for the 2 years period, the value of this phone will reduce to only 10,000. So this is called, the value of the phone is depreciating. Depreciating means the value of the phone is decreasing by 15,000. So this is what we call depreciation. Depreciation leads to the reduction in the value of the asset, and depreciation is a kind of loss, or you can also call it as a kind of expense. depreciation is a kind of loss that lead to the reduction in the value of the furniture over, that uh, lead to the reduction in the value of the asset over the period of time. So in this case, the value of the furniture is reducing. Furniture is reducing by what amount? By 5,000, right? So since the value of the furniture is reducing, and because furniture is an asset, whenever asset reduces, what do? We credit the asset account, right? And at the same time, depreciation, as I told you, depreciation is a kind of loss. So depreciation is increasing, that means loss is increasing. Whenever loss increases, what do? We debit the loss account, right, Vanisha? So in this case, the general entry will be depreciation
Yes, sir.
account debit to furniture account. Amount will be 5,000. Tell me if it is clear.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay, please pass the general entry. You ask for one more transaction, na? Other than the D, you have one more
Yes, sir.
doubt.
G1, last one, sir.
G, last one. Okay. So received commission of 25,000, half of which is in advance. So we have received commission. So firstly, commission is what? Commission is a revenue, capital, asset, liability. How do you classify commission? Tell me. Commission is what? Commission is
Revenue.
a revenue. Yes, correct. Revenue. Commission is a revenue. So in this transaction, what is happening? We have received commission. So commission is a revenue. That means our revenue is increasing, number one. And whenever revenue increases, what do? We debit the revenue account. That means commission account will be credited. Okay. But the question says that half of which is in advance. Half of this is paid in advance. That means total commission that we have received is 25,000. That means cash account will increase by 25,000. Cash account, because cash is increasing, we need to debit the cash account. But cash account will be debited by what amount? It will be debited by 25,000. All right. And commission, out of 25,000, we have received 25, the 50% has been received on advance basis. 50% only relates to the current period. 50% is related to the current period, and 50% is for the next, let's suppose it is for the next month. 50% is made in advance. So advance commission that we have received is a liability upon us, right? It is a liability. So whenever liability increases, what do? Whenever liability increases, we need to credit the liability account. So commission received in advance is a liability. So our liability is increasing. Whenever liability increases, we need to credit the commission. Sorry, we need to credit the liability account. So the general entry for this transaction will be, let me show you. Correct general entry for this will be, firstly, because cash is, we are receiving cash of 25,000, so cash account will be debited by 25,000. To commission account, 12,500 only, and remaining 12,500 will be transferred to the commission received in advance. I don't have sufficient space available here, so make sure you write the correct general entry. Cash account debit to commission account debit, sorry, cash account debit to commission account to commission received in advance. Commission received in advance 12,500 as well. This is how we will pass the general entry. So see, cash account debit 25,000, commission account debit 12,500, and to commission received in advance account 12,500. Got it? Is it clear, Vanisha, Labiba, both of you? The
Yes,
last
sir.
general entry is clear? Yes. Okay. And what about the other journal entries? You did it correctly? Just tally your solution. First journal entry will be cash account debit, bad debt account debit to sham account. Second journal entry will be cash account debit, bad debt recovered account. Third will be rent account debit to rent outstanding account. Fourth will be depreciation account debit to furniture that I just explained you. Depreciation account debit to furniture account. And the fifth one was salary account debit to outstanding salary account. And sixth will be drawing account debit to cash account. And last one, as I just explained, cash account debit to commission account to commission received in advance account. I hope all these general entries are clear to you, Vanisha and Labiba. Is it yes or
sir.
no? Labiba, all these journal entries are clear to you as well. Tell me in the chat section, please. Okay. All right. So Labiba is having some problem with her mic. Anyways, all right. So both of you, this is it for the today's class. Make sure Labiba you resolve your mic issue in the next class. And if you have any trouble solving these questions, do let me know in the next session. Anyways, I'm giving you a few questions for your homework as well. Kindly take this screenshot of this. Take the screenshot of this question, please. This will be your homework. Maybe the next class will be our the last class for this chapter. Next class will be the last class for this chapter. On Tuesday, one more class will be dedicated to the journal, and I don't think I think we'll be able to finish this chapter by then. Done with the screenshot, Anisha?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Also take the screenshot of the next question. One more question. Take the screenshot of this question as well. This one is also homework. Done. So these two questions are your homework. We will be discussing few more questions based on the journal. I'm presuming that you will be able to solve the question that I gave you for homework. Then there will be 2-3 more questions left in this chapter that I think we'll be able to finish in the next class. All right, so this is it for today's session, Vanisha and Labiba. We'll see you in the next class. Till then, take care. Goodbye.
Thank you, sir.
Most welcome.